Dumelang, it's another vibrant morning across the continent and you're watching Africa Good Morning, your trusted source for the latest news shaping Africa and beyond. From politics and business to sports and entertainment, we bring you the stories that matter most. Today we look at Africa's push for sustainable healthcare solutions amid declining funding, Uganda facing pressure from the Commonwealth over opposition leader Kizza Besigye's detention, and fresh diplomatic moves between the US and Russia over Ukraine. In Botswana, Rorisang Mogojwe will bring us the latest on public opinion surrounding the death penalty, the government's review of human-wildlife conflict compensation, and sporting icon Letsile Tebogo's plans for 100-meter dominance. Plus, we'll dive into cultural celebrations, economic updates, and key developments from the African Union. Catch us live on DStv 285, GOtv 25, 1up2.com, and Network Media Hub on YouTube. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories shortly. These are the top stories on Africa Good Morning. The decline in healthcare funding across Africa is driving medical professionals and policymakers to explore innovative solutions for accessible medical care. Governments are struggling to bridge these financial gaps, yet progress is adopting digital advancements remains slow despite their potential to revolutionize healthcare delivery. At the Kenya Medical Research Institute KEMRI annual scientific and health conference, experts highlighted the transformative power of precision and personalized medicine, emphasizing the need for a technology-driven approach to sustainable health systems. Under the theme Research, Technology and Innovation for Sustainable Health Systems, a community-driven agenda, discussions centered on leveraging digital tools and medical innovation to address healthcare challenges. In a post-COVID era, African nations have a unique opportunity to integrate research, technology, and community-driven initiatives to strengthen healthcare infrastructure, but realizing this potential will require stronger policy commitments and investment in digital health solutions. The Commonwealth has called on Uganda to release opposition leader Kizza Besigye, stating that his detention undermines democracy and human rights. However, President Yoweri Museveni dismissed concerns over Besigye's health, labeling his hunger strike as an act of blackmail aimed at securing bail. Besigye, a longtime critic of Museveni, has been held for nearly 3 months and prosecuted by a military court on charges including illegal firearms possession, sparking public outrage. The 68-year-old politician began a hunger strike last week and was briefly hospitalized over the weekend, according to an allied lawmaker. Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland condemned his detention along with that of his lawyer and aide, saying it violates the principles of democracy, human rights and the rule of law, marking a rare rebuke from the 56-nation organization. Scotland emphasized the Commonwealth's long-standing relationship with Uganda and expressed hope for a return to a more inclusive and democratic political environment. The Ugandan government, however, has denied accusations of human rights abuses, insisting that all legal processes are followed. Critics argue that Besigye's imprisonment is another sign of increasing authoritarianism as Uganda heads into an election next year, where Museveni, in power since 1986, is widely expected to run again. The United States and Russia have agreed to push forward with efforts to end the war in Ukraine, a U.S. official announced following high-level talks in Riyadh. U.S. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce confirmed that both sides will appoint respective high-level teams to begin working on a path to ending the conflict in Ukraine as soon as possible in a way that is enduring, sustainable, and acceptable to all sides. Russian negotiator Yuri Ushakov described the 4-hour discussions as very serious, covering all key issues. Meanwhile, Ukraine and European allies expressed concerns that former U.S. President Donald Trump, who is expected to play a major role in negotiations, could strike a deal with Russian President Vladimir Putin that overlooks their security interests and emboldens Moscow. As the talks unfolded in Saudi Arabia, Russia hardened its stance, with Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova stating that it was not enough for NATO to reject Ukraine's membership bid. She insisted the alliance must go further and revoke its 2008 promise that Ukraine would eventually join, warning that failure to do so would continue to destabilize Europe. There was no immediate response from Ukraine, NATO, or the United States to Russia's new demand. Now, those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, Botswana finds itself at the center of several major developments, from policy shifts to cultural celebrations and sporting ambitions. A new survey reveals overwhelming public support for the death penalty, even as human rights groups call for its abolition. At the same time, the government is reviewing compensation for human-wildlife conflict, aiming to better support affected communities. On the cultural front, Son of the Soil marks 20 years of celebrating Botswana's heritage, while the gambling industry sees major expansion with Sunbet's new platform. In sports, Letsile Tebogo is setting his sights on 100-meter dominance in the Diamond League, and Botswana is making a bold bid to host the 2026 World Relays. Rorisang Mogojwe will take us through these key stories and what they mean for the country. Stay with Africa Good Morning.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
It's time to get the news from our correspondent in Botswana, Rorisang Mogojwe. Rorisang, welcome back to Africa Good Morning. I hope you're doing well.
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me. It is a beautiful morning. It has been raining cats and dogs right here in Botswana, but nonetheless, we are happy, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you on Africa Good Morning.
All right. Now, Rorisang, Botswana remains the only country in Southern Africa still enforcing the death penalty, and a new Afrobarometer survey shows that 82% of Botswana support it. Why do you think capital punishment continues to receive such strong backing, especially among women and older citizens?
Yes, that is correct. An overwhelming number of Botswana have shown support for or are in favor of the death penalty, and this is according to the latest Afrobarometer survey, which has shown that more than 8 out of 10 Botswana support the death penalty or capital punishment. Opinions are very strong on this one, with most believing that it is a very strong deterrent to violent crimes or serious crimes such as murder, with some even calling for it to be implemented with other violent crimes such as rape, especially looking at the fact that the Botswana police has recorded an increasing number of violent or serious crimes in the country. So many do believe that capital punishment or the death penalty is the right way to go in terms of deterring crimes, or at least curbing the growing incidence of criminal rates in the country. Now, on the other side, international organizations or critics of the death penalty are saying that the death penalty is actually a huge deterrent to human rights. And instead of focusing on punitive measures, the government of Botswana should instead focus on restorative measures, because that might actually help, to deter crime in the country, and also focus on strengthening the legal and the justice system in the country instead of continuing forward with the death penalty. President Duma has hinted at the fact that he might actually abolish the death penalty, but the jury's still out on that one. He has not officially made any sort of pronouncement in that regard, but many people do believe that the fact that he is a human rights lawyer by profession, then most likely he will actually abolish the death penalty. But like I said, the jury's still out on that one. All eyes are on him right now to see if the remaining number of inmates that are currently on death row will be executed or not. But currently Botswana remains the only country in Southern Africa that still has the death penalty or capital punishment in the region.
All right, now the government of Botswana is reviewing its compensation policy for victims of human-wildlife conflict, with concerns that the current system falls short. What challenges do affected communities face, and what changes are being proposed to better support them?
Well, human-wildlife conflict in Botswana is a growing cause for concern. It is a growing problem that affects a lot of livelihoods, especially in rural areas or in areas where the communities live around wildlife-populated areas. I can tell you right now that it is caused by a number of factors, including population growth and climate change, as well as a lack of coordination between land use policies. I mean, with population growth, as the human population grows, it encroaches on some of these animal habitats as well as resources. Also, there's issues of migration patterns where animals migrate in search of food and water, and they tend to encroach on human habitats, and this causes conflicts. And some of the challenges that some of these communities face include crop damage. That crops are destroyed by the wildlife, by elephants, for example, and there's also livestock that is being killed by some predators and some of the wildlife as well. And there's also poverty. Poverty is also a big challenge, because a lack of wildlife conservation means that the human-wildlife conflict in the area is going to increase. And therefore, the government is saying that it is going to review the current compensation policies for victims who have been affected by human-wildlife, and they just want to have a comprehensive legal approach to ensure that there is relief that can be given accurately to some of these communities. Botswana is home to more than 130,000 elephants, and elephants are really the biggest perpetrators at the moment, but there's also lions and cheetahs who are also killing some of the animals that are being reared by these communities. So now the government is saying that it wants to relook policies, land use policies, as well as the compensation policies, and come up with a comprehensive legal structure that will provide relief for some of these communities, because under the existing policy, compensation only covers about 35% of market value for the damages that are caused by animals such as leopards, such as cheetahs, wild dogs, rhinos, buffaloes, crocodiles, and hippos. However, incidents that are caused by elephants, like I said, these are some of the biggest perpetrators, and lions, those are fully refunded at 100%. So they're going to look at the policies involving other wildlife. But it is a promise that has been made by the government, so all eyes on the government on that. There will be accountability that has to be brought forward in that regard.
All right, we certainly hope that that is solved in a mutually beneficial manner. Now, before we get into the entertainment news, let's get into your sport updates, Rorisang. Letsile Tebogo is shifting his focus to the 100 meters this season after a stellar 2024 campaign. What's driving this decision, and how does it position him for success in the Diamond League and beyond?
Letsile Tebogo, the sprinting sensation, is looking to solidify his 100-meter supremacy as he heads to Shanghai on May the 3rd for the second meeting of the season. Now, the 21-year-old really is determined to claim his first ever Diamond Trophy this year in 2025 before he turns his focus to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo this September. The season marks a major shift for Tebogo, who, after clinching victory in Rome last August, announced that he would be dedicating this year, 2025, to the 100 meters. Already locked in for the season opener in Xiamen on April 26th, he will compete in a Chinese double with his appearance just a week later, aiming to rack up early points on the road to the final. Now, the sprinting sensation is expected to join an electrifying lineup of track and field superstars already confirmed for Shanghai, including high jump world record holder and Olympic champion Yaroslava Mahushik, and 400-meter hurdles world record holder Karsten Warholm. Yes, Letsile Tebogo is the sprinting sensation in Botswana, and the country is looking forward to his performance as he continues to set himself apart, as he continues on his quest for his 100-meter supremacy in the world.
We certainly do wish him all the best. Now, Botswana is making a bid to host the 2026 World Relays as part of its 60th independence celebrations. What makes Botswana a strong contender, and what would hosting this event mean for the country's athletics scene?
Well, as we know, the World Athletics event is a prestigious track and field relays event hosted by the World Athletics. It brings together elite teams to come and compete in track and field events from across the globe, and therefore this essentially means that Botswana continues to push, continues to place itself on the global arena, on the global stage when it comes to track and field as well as athletics. Now, the fact that Botswana is looking to host, or is at least bidding to host this very prestigious event, it means that it is positioning itself on the global stage. Not only that, but according to the Botswana Athletics Association, it is in line with the country's plans to celebrate its 60th anniversary next year. Botswana gained independence in 1966, and therefore the year 2026 marks 60 years of independence. And according to the Botswana Athletics Association, which confirmed in a statement which reads, as part of the celebrations, Botswana Athletics Association is bidding to host the World Athletics Relay for 2026. It also further announced that as part of the bidding process, a delegation from the World Athletics Bid Committee will be in the country on Friday the 21st, and that's this week, until the 23rd, to assess the nation's preparedness. The athletics committee will be arriving in the country in order to evaluate Botswana's readiness to host this very prestigious athletics event.
All right, Rory, it's time for us to swing into some entertainment. And there's a festival that I've always wanted to go to, and I can't believe I've delayed it this long. But Son of the Soil is celebrating 20 years with a bigger lineup and new features aimed at engaging younger audiences. How has the festival evolved over the years, and what can attendees expect from this year's edition?
Well, Son of the Soil is the longest running cultural and heritage festival in the country, and this year it is marking its 20th anniversary. And a lot of people are excited about it because this year's is a very special edition for the mere fact that it is now turning or has turned into a 3-day event, whereas in the past it was just a 1-day event where people got together at a local establishment or at a local venue to celebrate the Setswana culture and to be able to exchange culture. It is a platform for cultural exchange and preservation. What normally goes on is that people come dressed in traditional attires. They eat traditional Setswana food and drink traditional drinks, traditional beer. They play local traditional games that we played growing up, and there is also a thrilling battle of the choirs segment, which everybody loves. And the event continues to grow in popularity, especially now among younger audiences, which is what is now making it special, because back in the day it would attract a lot of older folk, but now young audiences are now appreciating it. And this year's main event, according to the organizers, will feature performances. Local performers will grace the stage, as well as South African performers as well, locally.
All right, Rory, a rather abrupt cut off there, but we just want you to get into your last story, which is Botswana's gambling industry expanding, with Sunbet launching an online betting platform and opening physical stores.
The launch of Sunbet's online betting platform, sunbet.co.bw, is really a game changer in the local gaming and gambling industry, which is at its infancy stage right here in Botswana. Now with the launch, we are going to see a world-class betting experience, which is going to allow Botswana to participate in sports betting, in virtual games, crash games, lucky numbers, and traditional casino offerings. And this is after Sunbet actually partnered with IT Horse Racing.
Now, African leaders have approved the establishment of a $20 billion Continental Financial Stability Fund, the African Development Bank announced, in a move aimed at preventing potential debt crises before they escalate. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before we say goodbye. DStv 285, GOtv 25, 1up2.com, and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where you can find us. From me, Ashwin Bedi, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jakanaka.